as a result that as one drawn by. So what has happened then? It's void. Narad is essentially telling the story of creation, separation of four powers. Drawn by the grandeur of the. So this is the grandeur of the void. That's a beautiful thing you see. Grandeur of the void. Because it is the infinite himself is there. The Lord himself is there in that form there. And that is what is the grandeur. As one drawn by the grandeur of the void, the soul attracted lay to the abyss. Therefore, you got drawn by it, you got charmed by it, attracted by it, and you plunged from your Satchidananda state into this void, into the grandeur of void. You had chosen. This is what Narada is telling to Savitri's mother. As one drawn by the grandeur of the void, see, it means he saw the possibility. Grandeur here means he saw the possibility of something new coming out, and therefore he got attracted by it, and therefore he had come down here from the abyss. Otherwise, you would have remained static, so to say, typal, fixed. There you see. The soul attracted lay to the abyss. It longed for the adventure of ignorance and the marvel and surprise of the unknown, obviously. Because you don't know what is there now behind it. The marvel and surprise of the unknown. And the endless possibility. See, in fact, that is the whole business of his jump. Endless possibility. That is the whole purpose. That lurked in the womb of chaos and in nothing's gulf, or looked from the unfathomed eyes of chance. So it's not really a chance, it is a purposeful chance. So he is describing the fall of the soul. Basically, he is describing the fall of the soul from the transcendent, how they jumped into this inconscient creation. Why? Why it jumped? Because it tired of its unchanging happiness. Yeah.
I have a question. Now, when he says here in 11:3 and then 111:2, is it the same soul, the soul which was living in the Ananda and the Satchidananda comes down here, but is it the individual soul which is in me and everybody, or is it just a soul?
Each individual soul, its counterpart is up there.
Each individual soul. So
Its
same
counterpart
soul,
is up there.
my soul.
That is called Jivatma.
So my soul has
Yes,
been there.
yeah, that's right.
But how do you find yourself back after it's in the
No,
darkness?
so you are here because your real soul is up there also. You had taken the path of evolution for growth.
Yes, but then you see it goes into unconscious, inconscious, then it goes into the soul, into the worm, into group souls of birds and fishes and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is not me.
Yes, it
This
is.
not my soul.
It is you because it is there you see the endless possibility.
Yeah, but you see, I mean,
You are seeing, you see no endless possibility.
but you see now, look, you have the beautiful soul, which is
Yeah.
living in the type world, and it comes down there, but then it has numerous changes.
It does.
Changes.
It experiences.
I mean, in the soul, how can there be my soul?
Each individual soul is independent of other soul.
Yeah, but it is the bee, for example, the bee has one many thousands of souls.
Yes.
I mean, little bit in animals.
So each soul has a purpose in the process of manifestation. Each divine quality has to emerge through him, through it.
But not the same.
Your quality will be different than my quality, his quality, her quality, like that.
When we come from the conscious.
Yeah. So to express your individual quality in the transcendent, in the supreme manner. The whole purpose is, it is not that all are same kind of cars. They have come out from the factory and they all look alike. Each car must have its own personality, its own character, its own possibility to express.
And this is already in the Satchitananda.
Yes, no, because it is there, it is supporting this thing here.
I still don't understand how it can be in the trees, in the sand, in the water.
Yeah, so you experience a certain joy out of it. That is, your quality has to fully emerge. You are still in the process. When you are fully grown up, your joy, quality of your joy will be different than the quality of my joy. Although all the joys are part of the divine joy.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how the soul can find itself back after it has gone.
It is
peace and the air and
it is experiencing. See, the very fact that we, for instance, at the mental level, we build up theories, we build up ideas, we quarrel, we argue. It means that we are finding joy in each expression.
yeah.
In each expression. When we are building up theories, philosophies, and all that, we are finding a joy in that. My way of expressing and enjoying is in that way. Each one is finding its own truth in that whole. That's the whole process. He says, no, endless possibility of each individual.
But Sri says there are constantly new souls being born on earth.
New soul means new quality.
Many more are coming. Many more are coming. And they're coming.
New quality is being born.
So where do they come from suddenly? There are so many.
Unless you have your counterpart up there, nothing will come down here. Nothing will come down here.
But look, also in animal, there is no soul really there. It only comes to the mind, the mental.
No, mind starts recognizing it at that point.
Yes.
But otherwise the soul is there. See, the soul is not developed. Soul is there in every bit, so to say. Even in a gem, in a stone, in a rock, in a tree. The soul of a tree, the soul of a plant, the soul of a man. See, it grows. When the psychic being fully comes forward, then your true individuality starts expressing itself. It does not express itself fully until then.
Exactly. That's my question now. Like when you have the plant kingdom. So where was my individual soul?
No, it's not a question of now yours. It is plants.
Yes, exactly. It is plants.
So it is enjoying its own life, its own existence, is expressing it, but in a very, very limited manner because its scope, its instrumentation is small, is poor. If the tree gives flower, it is expressing its own joy.
Yeah. My mother said we cannot go back into even by memory into the plant.
Well, if you develop that faculty, you can. If you develop that faculty, you can experience that. If it is necessary and you want to go, you can go back. In fact, we have seen that in one of the prayers, the mother says, no, in the evening, how she sees peace pervading everywhere, and how from the sap of a tree, the peace is rising up. She sees that the sap of the tree is rising up in the peace. So once you have identified yourself, you know that it is there, you see. And she, in her prayer, one of the prayers, she has identified herself with the cherry blossom. See. And she says that, yes, by identification with the cherry blossom, she could remove the grief of the world. She says that, you see. So, it is, whether it is necessary for each one or not, that one has to see. It is a freedom, choice is there. You see. But each character, each one has his own individuality, that is important. And that is the true individuality. In fact, that is what Narada is going to explain later on. Here, you see. It tired of its unchanging happiness. Well, that was what happened, you see, it was a static happiness. It turned away from immortality. You see, I mean, it is a great sacrifice because it was tired of it. It was drawn to hazard's call and danger's charm. It has accepted the peril of the process because it did not know what it is going to do. It was all blind. He saw the shadow. Behind the shadow, he could not see anything. So it accepted the hazard. Hazard, dangerous. It yearned to the pathos of grief, the drama of pain, which it could not experience elsewhere. What is it for? Let me see what the truth behind pain. What is the truth behind grief? It wanted to see that experience. Perdition's peril, the wounded bear escape, the music of ruin and its glamour and crash. Narad is really poetic. The savor of pity and the gamble of love and passion and the ambiguous face of fate. It longed for that. We'll just take this sentence and learn. A world of hard endeavor and difficult toil and battle on extinction's perilous verge, a clash of forces, a vast incertitude, the joy of creation out of nothingness. In fact, that summarizes the entire purpose of the soul plunging into darkness. Joy of creation out of nothingness. What greater joy can be there if I had to accept difficulties for that? If I had to suffer for that, how does it matter for me? How does it matter for me? Because it is joy out of nothingness, from shunya. If I am going to produce something, this is the most wonderful thing. See, I mean, when you see a tree flowering up, we feel so happy. There was no flower, as if out of nothingness the flower has suddenly come up. We feel happy. Now just imagine how happy the tree itself will be feeling. How happy the tree itself will be feeling, you see. The baby is born, the parents are immediately happy. The joy of creation out of nothingness. In fact, that is the whole purpose of your coming here. Strange meetings on the roads of ignorance and the companionship of half-known souls, or the solitary greatness and lonely foe of a separate being conquering its world. The separate being, this is what we are, limited, separate being conquering its world, called it from its too safe eternity. It was very safe there, but it accepted the word of hard endeavor. It accepted for a purpose. A separate being conquering its world, called it from its too safe eternity. A huge descent began. Therefore, you have started coming down from the transcendent here. A giant fall, that is the fall of the soul. Why it has become? Because it saw certain possibilities there. What the spirit sees creates a truth. You are seeing something there, and therefore you are going to create a truth here. The fall is for a certain purpose. It sees something, and that truth is created. And what the soul imagines is made a world. A thought leaped from the timeless a thought that leaves from the timeless can become indicator of cosmic consequence and the itinerary of the gods, a cyclic movement of eternal time. So when the thought really leaves, now he is describing one by one, see, it becomes cyclic movement of eternal time, wheel of time, it moves, periods of cycles, seasons, basically seasons. Why seasons are there? Thus came born from a blind, tremendous choice, because it did not see what was going to happen. Obviously it could not, blind, because it is shadow. Behind the shadow, what can you see? It is a thick shadow, blind. this great, perplexed, and discontented world, this haunt of ignorance, this home of pain. There are pitched desires tents, grief's headquarters. Here the conquest has to be there. Here the vast disguise has to be removed. The vast disguise conceals the eternal's